Hi, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge. Today we're back for book haul in May part 1 because you know your girl, every 20 days she has a huge stack of books, and I was like, maybe I'll wait, I'll do it at the end of the month. But then I was going through my stacks of books and seeing when I bought them, and I was like, wow, I already have 15 books. So I should make a book haul so that it doesn't take forever, because when are my videos ever short? But okay, let's just go. No shame here, right? I talk about this all the time. The Book Refuge is a safe place to talk about books, safe place to talk about our problems, which include buying too many books. So here we go. Like I said, I have about 15 books so far this month. One of them was on audio. The first one I'll just mention really quick because I've already had a video about this and talked about it. The first day of the month, I bought Aquafrost, A Court of Frost and Starlight. Already read it the same day, video posted that day. You guys have really liked that, so I really appreciate it. I enjoyed that book. It's getting a lot of shade, but I stand by my review. It did for me what I wanted it to do, and other people say it's a cash grab, they want to say this or that, and they totally have a right to that opinion, and the cynical side of me agrees. But the book-loving, fandom, fervent girl that I am was appreciative that she did write something like this, because those are the kind of books that we always crave. And yeah, maybe it's like getting too much chocolate. Maybe you didn't really need it, but I got it, and I'm satisfied. My stomach ache was worth it, so I don't mind. But anyway, that was the first book I bought. Next up, starting with the books I just bought today that pushed me over the edge of this. Here we go. I've been hearing a lot about this gorgeous book called Brightly Burning. Ooh, it's shining my light. That's not good. Anyway, and all that I knew about it is that it's Jane Eyre in space. And like a lot of people who love Jane Eyre, I was like, all right, I'm going to give in. I'm going to read it. I've read a couple other retellings of Jane Eyre. Some I liked, some I didn't. But I was all about going for this one. This woman is an engineer, and I guess it's kind of like a factory type job where she feels like she's wasting her life. So she quits and she becomes a governess on a spaceship called the Rochester. You see what's happening. And apparently nobody told her that it was haunted. And that's all I know so far. That's all I need to know. Even though if you follow me on Instagram, you see I'm currently reading 6 novels right now. I don't care. I want to read this one instead. And when a better book comes along, I'm woman enough to say I want to read that one first. So next up is The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. This is another novel. I don't hardly know anything about it. It looks a little bit like it's a cross between a heist novel and some kind of adventure. And right now I'm kind of reading a lot of books like that. It's about these 5 different characters who all intersect when they get a hold of some demon smoke, which apparently is kind of like an illicit drug, as well as, I don't know anything else. I know nothing about this one. I have not much to say. The cover looked super cool, assuming each one of these represents someone. And let's see too, it was royal purple inside. I'm all about. It's also from Viking, which I really like that publisher. I've liked a lot of their books, so it was beautiful, and I decided to give it a go. So I'm interested to see what this one's about. The third one I bought today was Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. This one is about a girl who she's been called Traitor Kate since her father was put to death for being a traitor. That being the name. Nice job, Jen. And so she's kind of been exiled since then. She used to be have a thing for the crown prince, but she has hated him since the day his father put her father to death. And then one day, it's also a time of dragons and stuff, and I guess she delivers the post, kind of like she's a post deliverer. That's not the right word. Let me look. Courier. she's a skilled courier, because this is a land of dragons and the dragons attack people at night, but she has the power to control animals. So she's able to get them to like go away from her and leave her alone. And one day she discovers these dragons have massacred an entire battalion of the king's men, and the only one left alive is said crown prince that she used to love, and now they have to work together. And this is another one that looks absolutely gorgeous. It's so white, beautiful. And this seemed really interesting. I love things with dragons in them. Pretty much everything with dragons in it in young adult that you have thought of, I have read or I've tried to read and didn't like it maybe, but I have tried it. And so I'm all about this, and it looks super cool. And I love finding new books that I haven't heard about yet, but I'm super excited to try this. It has this cool white tree on the front. It's awesome. Also, I just got Unbury Carroll by Josh Malerman. This is an adult thriller, and it's about this woman who she has these fainting spells, but really she gets put into this like mini coma, and she'll be in it for a certain amount of time, and then she'll wake up again. And the only two people who know about this, because all of her family is dead, is her husband, who she's been married to for I think like 15 years, and then an outlaw who she used to love, but when she told him about her condition, he left her and ran away because he couldn't handle it. And so all this I'm telling you is in the synopsis, by the way. I'm not giving anything away. They set you up with this. So one day, Carol goes into her fainting fit, and her husband decides to pretend she's dead because nobody else knows about it. So he sets about getting her buried alive, hence the title. And the only other person who knows about her condition is an outlaw, and so who used to love her. So it's all about if or how he might be able to rescue her and how that would play out. So I'm partway into this one. It's okay. Like I said on Instagram, I like to cycle through different genres when I'm in a bit of a book slump. So right now I'm kind of in a book slump. You wouldn't know with all the books that I bought, but usually when I like a book, I get in it and I continue it till I'm done, and I don't get so distracted by everything. But this is okay. It's not really my genre, but the cover looked amazing and the story seemed interesting, so I wanted to give it a try anyway. But yeah, it's good so far. We'll have to see what I have to say about it in the end. I'll definitely do a book talk for this, since it's a little different than things on, like a lot of the YA booktubers aren't going to talk about this one, so I want to give it a go. Is this book the Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope? This one, I'll straight up tell you, I know nothing about it. It looked beautiful, and it's an adult sci-fi. The cover is gorgeous, and it has to do with in space, and this one girl and a guy team up. Like, literally, that's all I know, but it was beautiful, and I was willing to take a risk on it. So hopefully you'll hear more about this, because I'll definitely do a book review for it when I finish it, but it's beautiful. Throw this one up here real quick. This is Confessor by Terry Goodkind. I already have a copy of this. I'm slowly collecting all the hardcovers of his Sword of Truth series, because it's one of my favorite. It's the biggest book series I've ever read, as well as being one of my favorite fantasy stories. I'm actually going to do kind of a deeper talk about one of these pretty soon, because I just think it was such a well put together story and I adored it. And yeah, but I just picked this up at the used bookstore because it's on my list of books I want in hardcover, so I couldn't pass it up when I got it for only $7. So next up are Days of Blood and Starlight and Dreams of God and Monsters. A lot has happened in regards to this series since my last book haul when I bought Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I loved Daughter of Smoke and Bone. And so then I went out and I had to get these two right away. I liked this trilogy. However, for me, it got really derailed and I didn't like it as much as I liked the first book, but it's a pretty easy read, so I figured I would finish it out. But that's kind of why I'm not doing a book talk for these, is I don't feel like they held up to the mystery and like awesomeness that it was. And especially how this one ended, which it's not that the ending was bad or I didn't like it or anything. It's just that the main conflict of the novel ended relatively early. And then there was this whole other story that had to do with the main characters in the last 150 pages that was like, should have had its own book. Like, she should have just made it a quartet and like wrote about that one, because it was an interesting story. What happens with Akava, something about him leads to a whole nother sidebar, and it just didn't have enough time, and then felt really jarring after the main conflict that had been going on for 3 novels was over, and then they started this like side story. Was just kind of weird. But I did enjoy this trilogy. Maybe I'll talk about it someday. I just have a lot of other things I want to read and do, and so it was okay. It was worth my time. And the first book I thought was so well put together. The mystery of who Karoo is and who Akava is to her was so great. I just think that when it turned to war in these 2 books, I wasn't a fan of it, but it was worth my time. So next, this is Never Never by Brianna R. Shrum. And I didn't know, like, this book just kind of caught my eye. I've seen it at the bookstore for a while. It's a little bit older one. It's from 2012. Sorry. And the premise of it is that James Hook used to be friends with Peter Pan, and Peter actually encouraged him to come to Never Neverland with him, and then wouldn't bring him back home because he missed his family and he wanted to grow up, and Peter wouldn't bring him back. So it's kind of a different backstory for Hook as to why he would hate Peter so much, and just gives it this better context of like why he became a pirate and so wants to kill Peter Pan. And it's just really interesting to me. I love fairy tale retellings. This one isn't, Peter Pan isn't quite a fairy tale, but I mean, I also, like you've seen maybe in my top movie, I love Once Upon a Time, and I love the Hook in there. And I kind of like the story they did with Peter Pan in there. But that was another one where like Hook had a really good reason to hate Peter Pan. Because if you've ever read Peter Pan the classic, you know that Peter is pretty frustrating. And like, you maybe don't hate him, but he's pretty frustrating as a character because he's stuck in adolescence. And like, if you never grow up, like, we're not meant to never grow up. So anyway, looks really fun. This next one, I'm pretty excited to read this. A lot of books with crowns coming out this year, between like War Storm and this, and then like what's the other one? The Fury Born, they have the crowns, and like 3 Dark Crowns. Crowns are really in right now. It's a thing. This one by Laura Sebastian is about Theodosia, who her entire family was murdered and her land was conquered by this one country. And so she was kept alive since she was little, and like kind of kept there as a message that they had conquered and they had won. And so she's kind of ridiculed, and she's called Ash Princess, and her life isn't really good. And it's just about, you know, how she's going to lead a revolution and how she could be queen when she doesn't, you know, how's she going to get her country back. And this is going to be a trilogy, I believe I heard. So I figured I would pick it up because, you know, want to get ahead of the game, and why not pick another book that I have to wait a year for the next one to come out? Why not? Guys, I can't stack them all. It's too high. Next up, I just want to show the 3 romance novels that I bought this month. This one was a new release, Mary Beloy, the Westcott series. It's about this family that the husband had another wife at the time he married his current wife. And so his first child that he had with the one wife, she really owns everything, because his second family is actually, his wife wasn't never really his wife because he was still married to someone else, and all 3 of their children are bastards, basically. So this is about, you know, how they find love and how things, you know, go on from there. And it's just, I really like Mary Below. She's one of my favorite romance authors. There's like 3 that I will automatically buy their books, and she's one of them. This book is also on my list. I'm like that much into it. I could finish this in a night. I've just been distracted by my other ones. Like I've said previously, why won't this focus? There we go. I read romance novels as palate cleansers between like big epic YA novels, because sometimes I need to just, you know, have a mindless romance where everything you know is going to work out in the end. And I just need that in my life. So there's this one by her. And then these two I also picked up at the secondhand store. They're one of her older series and I haven't read them yet, so I figured I'd pick them up. All right, and then like I said, I got one book on audio, and that was The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. I really wanted to reread that book, but I needed one to listen to, so I figured I'd pick that one. I really like The Chemist. I actually really like, well, of course, I love all of her books. I do. I love them all. But I particularly like The Host and The Chemist. Funny, they're not connected at all, even though she said them that way. But I'm really enjoying listening to it. The characters are so much fun, and it's really cool to get to listen while I'm doing other things. But yeah, so that's going to be my May Part 1 book haul. Tell me which of these you're the most interested in. I know for me, I really, really can't wait to read Brightly Burning. Like I said, I'm going to read that really soon. And then honestly, like, oh, they all look so good. I'm going to make some time. Like tonight, I don't have anything going on, so I'm going to dive into finishing some that I've started and read some new ones. So anyway, thanks for coming along. Thanks for coming to the book Refuge. I love talking with people. You'll see my videos. I will write paragraphs back to you. I'm just looking for people to talk to about books. So leave a comment, agree, disagree, whatever, but I'd love to talk with you. So please take the time to do it. It'll be fun. So thank you. Thanks for coming. Have a wonderful day, and bye.